Hey guys, starting this video off a little bit different than normal. Dallas was doing some stuff that I thought was interesting in the barn. So that's where we're starting off this video. Um, we'll be with you shortly after we check out what Dallas is doing in the barn, and we'll see you in the arena once we're riding.
All right, a little bit different Dallas today than we had the first time. He's definitely a little bit more angsty. He has already broken leather halter. He reared back and pulled on that, so now we got the rope one on him. And yeah, he's really upset right now, not getting his way. So I thought I'd just let him stand here and paw for a couple minutes. He's angry. He's very determined he's going to paw through that concrete. I think he probably won't. That's my guess. Just a hunch. Now, things he could do is flop down. He could rear back again. And then, he could bend the ring. Horses are so strong. All right, so we're going to get him out there and see what happens this session. GoPro, stop recording.
Welcome into another tuning train up video. I'm with Dallas today. This is his second round of me touching him in my effort to make horses better than they were, and also to get him usable for our program and get him usable for Julie, who's the owner of this horse. And he's close. He didn't come completely like untrained, and so we'll see what happens. He is kind of like a little bit more of huffy today, throwing himself, getting all huffy puffy is what I call it. He gets himself into a tizzy. He looks like right now he's standing calm, but when he was just in the barn like 2 seconds ago, he was pawing up a storm. I got some footage of that I'll include in this video, but he had himself, I got a rope halter on him today. Julie bought him a really nice fancy one that had his name on it and everything, and then he decided to rear back and he snapped that one. The leather. Horses are really strong. So anyway, Julie will have to figure out what she's doing there, replace that. But for now, we've got the rope halter on. It's got these knots on here, so this is really what you want when you're training horses for groundwork, because when I move this lead line around when I'm doing groundwork, these knots help me apply pressure to his face. So it's kind of like a torque amplifier, like a pressure amplifier when I'm doing things on the rope, okay? And then horses that I'm starting off that really have had no basis of anything, I typically will put this rope halter on, right off the rip, right off the get-go, so that it helps me communicate with the horse more effectively. Now, the reason I have this on Dallas today is not because he's that type of horse where he's had zero training and I'm starting from the bottom. It's because he broke a halter. So that's the other benefit of this rope halter, is it's entirely made of rope and knots. So they can pull on it as hard as they want, and this won't fail. Something else will fail, like this metal clasp. I don't know if you can see it on the halter. The thing that the lead line is hooked up to, that will fail before this rope halter will fail. And then if this holds up, whatever you're attached to on the wall, like the ring, any other pieces of metal parts, because horses are just that strong. They can pull back. The pull force that they have is very tremendous. So anyway, that's where we are with Dallas today. Mr. Huffy Pants today. So he's got the rope halter on. He already broke one. And then if you're not touching him, like if I go tie him into a wall right now, he will immediately start pawing and digging himself a hole. So he's got some patience issues that we're going to try to help him with today. So as per my usual agenda, I'm trying to get him soft. We already kind of figured out what Dallas was capable of in the first video, to the most part. And so now we are going to be just kind of building off of that. And then I think this week Julie's going to try to get in the woods with him and see how he does in the woods. So stay tuned for that. We'll have some footage of that as well. So without further ado, we're going to get to it. Okay, so just a refresher in case this is your first time checking out videos with us, or if you forgot what Dallas was all about. He has like some serious space issues. Like he kind of always wants to be stepping on you. Yep. Okay, and so we're going to spend some time on the ground first, and then hopefully, my hope is on this groundwork is if he's got some extra sass in him and he wants to throw a buck or do something kind of dramatic, it's not with me on his back. That's my hope. Gets some feet moving, gets his heart rate up a little bit. Consider it kind of a warm-up and kind of a me gauging how he's going to do. Ooh. And then the last video, and you can see him doing it now too, he's not giving me 2 eyes, so he's not giving me the full attention. That is an improvement though from the last time we touched Dallas. He tried cutting me off last time and went rotating to it'd be to Dallas's, I guess, left or right. Anyway, I don't know what I'm saying, but one direction he was better than the other. Whoa. I'm just gonna keep applying pressure until he stops, and it's gonna keep getting bigger and bigger until he stops. There we go. And again, I'm using that rope halter, so all that yanking and pulling on the line helps me apply pressure. He started moving without me telling him, so I'm stopping him again. I got licking and chewing, which is of course comprehension, and then I had 2 eyes for a second. There we go. Sometimes this helps push the reset button. You know, standing in that barn when Dallas was pulling and broke that halter, Dallas was on his own agenda, okay? And that's what led to that instance. He heard a horse whinny from outside of the barn, and then that made him realize, oh snap, I am not with my friends, and that is where I should be right now. Whoa. And so that's what led him to decide to try to pull back and go to be with his friends. He tried to cut me off a little bit there. And it's like he knew I was going to discipline him for it, because that's why he started running. Whoa. Giving him some strong cues. I'm still trying to be as gentle as I can. Whoa. He saw me pick this up. Whoa. He saw me pick my scary stick up. Okay, so what we had going on there is I'm trying to stop him, and he kept coming toward me. So that required some motion. I need him to respect the scary stick, but not be deathly terrified of it. So like if I put it in the air, that's good. That's, I respect it, and he didn't just take off and run. You know, he's not terrified of it. Okay? Want him to move now. Nope, not that way, not that way. There we go. That one might have been a little bit my fault, because I was experimenting with the whole scary stick above his head kind of thing. See, when he's rotating around, he's kind of like with his whole head looking away from me. So he's not with me. He's kind of a little with me, and then sometimes he's not with me. So we're gonna keep going with this groundwork for a minute, because I need a little more progress before I get on. Woo. Good boy. We're gonna go the other way. I would be fine if he was trotting right now. He's choosing the canter. He's choosing to spend energy, and I'm gonna let him. I'm gonna let him just spend that. Go ahead, spend that energy. Woo. Gonna say whoa before I pull on him. We got 2 eyes. Do we have chewing? No chewing. That's okay. We've got pooping though. Look, I hope the camera catches some of this pooping and peeing stuff, because that's the real horse world, okay? You know, I'm not gonna cut that stuff out. It's all part of the biz. It's all part of it. I always tell people when they come into the barn and you can smell horse smells, how blessed they are that they came a long way to get those aromas. Whoa. Whoa. Still moving, and he's coming toward me. There we go. See how he corrected himself right there? Oh, he's still trying to move. I'm just experimenting. Sometimes you gotta just start trying some stuff to see what happens. Back. There we go. That's what I was experimenting with, was to get him to back up. Back. Not fast enough. Okay, and then he went through his list of things that scary stick usually means, which usually means go. And what I wanted him to do was back up. I'm experimenting with some stuff. I want him to get away from me. Instead of going around me, I want him to face me and get away from me. We're gonna try it. There we go, he backed up a few. Have him walk forward, whoa. Back. Good boy. I'd like a little more though. See, what I don't like is when I'm trying to back him up, he's trying to move either toward me or rotate. There we go. And those are all little subtle nuances of disobedience. You know, anytime he's deciding to try to reset the agenda to what he wants. And so there's two things going on. Is it him deciding to reset the agenda, or is it because he truly doesn't understand what I'm asking him to do? And see, and that's the horse handler's job, is to figure out where we're at with that. Back. I'm going to apply pressure to his face. Not fast enough. Okay. Back up. I think he knows how to back up. Good boy. So now he's moving backwards without rotating. I'm going to try it again. Okay, so me moving this lead line is my asking nice. I'm jiggling this lead line like, hey, just kind of like saying pressure incoming if you don't move. Back. Okay. Let's get away from the wall a little bit. Whoop. We're gonna move in a different direction for now. We're spending a little more time on the ground with him because this is what Dallas is giving me today. You know, if I had two eyes and I had some comprehension and some locking in on me, that's what that two eyes is. He's locking in on me and my agenda, okay? Yep. If he did that sooner, we'd be in the saddle sooner. So again, you have to take what the horse gives you. And sometimes it takes a little extra time depending on what's going on with that horse. Woo. Okay, now the way he's standing right now, because he didn't face off with me, when I ask him to go the other direction, he's going to struggle with that. He's going to have a hard time because he's going to want to come toward me. See, and that's exactly what he did because he didn't set himself up right. All this happens because of him choosing not to submit to what I'm asking him to do. And I would say 50-50. 50% is him still learning what I'm asking for, and the other 50% is he's just got up a stinker right now. We're trying. That's why we're handling him, because he's got some issues we're trying to help him through. Whoa. Good boy. See, that direction, he'll square off at me, look me right in the eyes. That's good. We can lock up. Come on. He made me apply maximum pressure right there. I don't want to do it. I hope you guys understand that. My goal is to apply the least amount of pressure. But I'm also not going to get bullied. If a horse is just pushing on me, then I'm going to keep going until I see the movement that I'm looking for. Now rotating this direction, he's got a bigger problem than the other. He's fully facing away from me. So we're gonna keep making him move his feet. He's gonna have to keep exerting energy, AKA pressure, okay? I'm applying pressure in the form of him having to exert himself. He needs to learn and understand that relief from this pressure exertion comes from him locking in with me. Whoa. Vocal command first. Then we're gonna give him the pressure tug. And then I'm hung up in my spurs. All right, that was better. Whoa. Oh, good boy. Gonna go the other way. Again, I'm using this scary stick, my training tool here. This is the thing that is communicating to him the distance I need him to keep. Whoa. Slowed down, but almost stopped. Okay, we're good there. We're gonna try the other way. Tried cutting me off. That's his booger side because he doesn't square off with me. Woo. Good boy. We're gonna go the other way. He's like, I don't wanna go the other way. Woo. I'm kind of speeding. I'm picking up my reps here instead of just doing a lot of laps in one direction. Back. Back. Okay, he's trying to figure it out. It's not him being naughty right now. Whoa. Back up. There we go. That was a much better backup. See him chewing? He's like, oh, that's what you mean. Whoa. We're gonna try it again. Back. Good boy. All these things are so, I don't know. I can't stress enough how important this stuff is. Back. Like me making him back up at a good pace even. That's me deciding stuff. This is super good for him mentally. For him to understand that you have to he has to understand that when he's being handled by a person, his agenda is nixed. It's nothing. It means zero. And Dallas is used to getting his agenda. That's what you're seeing before you right now is a horse that's had training, but then that horse that's been trained is used to getting its way. Whoa. Okay, now that doesn't make the people who handled him like evil or something before. Anytime you let a horse go and you stop touching it and stop handling it, whoa, you're at that risk. Because that's all the more time that horse has to start making its own decisions and deciding stuff for itself. Come on, bud. Whoa. Back. Okay. About ready to get on. I don't love how he's not fully locked into me, but sometimes you have to take the little bit of progress and you have to go with it. See, he's still fully not looking at me. He's kind of like shoulder to me, but face away from me. Whoa. See how he stopped? He's not squaring up. This is his booger side. Okay, here we go. He's gonna have a hard time. Yep, cut me off because he didn't square up with me. He didn't 2-eye with me. Him and I need to have eyes to eyes. Whoa. See, and then when he stops that direction, he's good. He's squared right up to me. It's like he understands it. Boy. Okay, so again, this is his side. He just is really doesn't favor. Woo. Atta boy. Let's see if we can do it nice. Oh, that was a little bit better. He cut it a little bit. Woo. Good boy. Don't get into my space, mister. Woo. This is pretty deep sand, too. Oh. Good boy. We're going to try backing up from this booger side where he didn't square up. Back. He starts doing it, but I'm a picky horse trainer, okay? So when I give a horse a cue, they have to do it not only like the cue, the thing, like in this case I was backing him up. They also need to do it at the speed that I'm asking them to do it. You know, I don't need him to go, yeah, I guess I'll back up since you're asking. I need him to go, ooh, back up, how fast and how long? I'll stop when you say so. That's what I'm looking for. Back up, bud. Okay, all right, we're gonna try to hop on. Now that he's a little bit tuckered out, I gotta go get my bridle. And that we've spent some valuable ground time. Again, cannot stress how valuable the ground stuff is. Ooh. Now, it's super possible if I go tie him up, he's still gonna paw. So that's really not on my radar. I don't care if he paws. Horses be horses sometimes, and you know, sometimes those things have a way of working themselves out once a horse kind of gets with the program and understands what their job is. And it's just one of those habits that's, you know, in my career I've only had a couple horses that try to step on you like maliciously, and even at that, most of the time it's pretty mild. Like they kind of put their foot on you to like say, hey, I could step on you and hurt you, but I won't. And so if a horse is pawing, you know, it's just something you got to be aware of so your feet's your footsies don't get hurt. All right, I'm gonna do that. Cinch is tight enough, probably. Here we go. All right, let's see what we got here from the old Dallas. He's real perky right now, so I'm not sure what's happening with him. Ears are way up, almost like he sees something he's scared of. So we'll see what happens here. He is definitely behaving differently today than he was his first time out. He was much calmer. So I don't know if it was something in the water or the food, or if he had a bad night of sleep or something. I don't know what's happening with him, but he's just not quite the same as he was, which is exactly why you need the reps. You gotta keep putting it in because you need to get that consistency going. Because you just don't know what's going on. I would predict it's because he is his mind and his soul is out in the pasture with his friends right now. That's probably what the issue is. It typically is that. So we're just gonna start off with doing some walking around here. Try to steer in and out of the cones a little bit. He's all huffy puffy, that's for sure. He's breathing pretty good from our groundwork. And if you'll remember, our last Dallas video is he was attempting to give my boots a little nibble too, so that was something we're gonna have to watch out for also. He's gaseous today. I'm having to push him through these tight turns. Woo. Good boy. Of course, he's sweaty, so. So petting him is less pleasurable than when he's not sweaty. My dad always loved the smell. Well, let me back up. My dad is still alive. I phrased that badly. My dad likes the smell of a good sweaty wet horse, which always perplexed me. That's not an enjoyable smell to me. Okay. It's always interesting too. You don't know how a horse has been used. You know, a horse might have had a lot of time in the arena, but you don't know if that horse did what they did in that arena, and you certainly don't know if they've been in the woods before. Sometimes, you know, they're advertised for sale as, you know, bomb-proof trail horse or something. But aside from that, and then you have to decide if you're going to believe the person, because what's their version of bomb-proof versus your version of bomb-proof, so there's that. So, anyways, you don't know how a horse was used. So they could be scared of something that seems relatively silly. That you don't think they should be scared of, but they are. such as a red door, for example, or the reflection of themselves in the mirror. Okay. Switched his leads right there. Easy. Woo, his brakes are not great. Gonna have to work on that. Whoa. Back up. He does back up, but he's still putting his head down. We talked about that in the last Dallas video, where when he feels rein pressure, he keeps trying to yank the reins and pull down. So that requires some further investigation / training tune-up, because I'm not sure if that's a button someone trained him to do, and there's another button they use for backing him up that's not reins, or if that's just him kind of trying to escape the pressure. Jury's still out on that one. It's only the second time, well, technically third time I've rode him. The first time was where we went to look at him to purchase him, which I shared in the previous video. Was previous Dallas video was very short. It was just kind of a quick like, hey, he's not gonna buck. He's pretty safe, at least in his home turf setting. Not saying, I will never say a horse will never buck, because anything's possible. It could happen. And sometimes they buck not to get you off. I've had horses buck because they spooked, and then that led to a series of events that were that led them to buck and crow hop and do things. So especially in the woods, a deer or something could come crashing way off trail that the horse can hear very acutely, and then that can cause them to spook and do things. So that's why the trail horses, if they're a quotation mark bomb-proof trail horse, pretty valuable, because they've kind of been there, done that. There's not a lot that can get them to get spooked. So whoa. Back up. Okay, so here's some progress that I can report on. When we first looked at Dallas, he had an issue with Julie and I both, when we both test rode him. He would lock up, or nearly lock up, like when you're trying to make him trot or walk, and he would just choose not to go. Now, when we were test riding him, neither of us had spurs on. And so I can tell you now, after 2 sessions of me touching him, he has had, I don't have to really push on him too hard. So that tells me that Dallas has had some training, and then he's relapsed just because people haven't, he hasn't had a lot of time on him. He's pretty soft in the mouth though when I steer him. I hardly have to touch him, so that's a huge benefit. That's real nice. Something we probably really don't need any attention on. He's not super soft for stopping, but I will say for steering, my goodness, I barely have to touch him. Let's pick it up. Let's go. Okay, so I didn't spur him. I just gave him a little bit of calf pressure at the lower part of my calf. I'm long-legged, so I have an advantage there. Some of the short-legged people, they might have to use their heel because they don't have enough calf. It's not a short dig. It's just anatomy. Oh, keep going, bud. That's what I was looking for, was a tighter canter circle. Oh yeah, this guy's had some time on him. Woo. Back up. All right, so here's what I'm experimenting on the stopping. I'm trying to use the lightest pressure I can, and as soon as he stops, I'm releasing those reins ASAP. I'm almost trying to beat him to the punch, because here's what I think's happening. I think when he's stretching that nose out, when you're putting the stop pressure on him, I think he's trying to escape the pressure. So if he actually stops, and I can release that pressure when he does the stopping and beat him to the punch. So I'm trying to release that pressure to say, hey, I will let the pressure off as soon as you stop. It's almost like I'm trying to communicate with him to say, hey, the pressure is gonna stop on your face as soon as you do stop. And I'm trying to really get ahead of it and beat him to the punch. So hopefully he'll understand I don't have to try to get away from the pressure, because the pressure there is an off ramp to the pressure. I hope that makes sense. I feel like I just said 1,000 words and I needed to say 100. So, and maybe it'll make sense when you see what I'm talking about in his face. I'm gonna try it right now and stop him. Woo. See, and then I'm trying to drop those reins as soon as he stops completely. Woo. He just might have a softer mouth too, where it just doesn't take as much pull. Okay, so this is like a trial and error thing, and if you're watching this and you have horses and you're like kind of stuck, whoa. Sometimes you got to try things and pay real close attention to what that horse is giving you. And if it doesn't work, that's no big deal. It's what it takes. Sometimes you do have to try it. Whoa. Oh my goodness, did you guys see that? Whoa. Sorry, I get a little excited when progress happens. He didn't even do the yank thing. Whoa. I'm also adding my body pressure in, my body position, I should say. I'm really exaggerating, leaning back, so he can feel a real positive cue. Like, not positive as in like, yay, but positive as in like, I'm for sure doing something. There's no question about it. I'm doing something with my body position, and there's no question about it that I'm doing it. So that's what I meant by positive. So right now, my body position as I'm riding Dallas is, I would say, neutral, okay? I'm not trying to tell him anything with my body position. I'm just trying to have good posture so my balance is good. Okay, and so when it's time for me to stop him, I'm gonna lean way back and I'm gonna switch from neutral body position to positive, like I'm positively telling you something. That's what I mean by positive, neutral, and of course negative would be not good. Really, I don't know how negative would apply, honestly, because if your body's in a neutral position, and then I'm positively telling you something, and then negative, I don't know. That just doesn't fit. All right, I hope the camera's catching how sweaty Dallas is. And I'm not saying you need to take your horse out and run them to death until they get really sweaty. But I am saying that if you give your horse a good workout, sometimes it helps them not have energy or time to think about what they want. So, spend some good time with them. Also, I'll say, you can get your horse sweaty mentally also. If you're really stressing your horse out mentally, they'll start sweating pretty bad from that as well. And I would say Dallas is probably mostly sweaty from physical exertion of energy. Whoa. Okay, that time I didn't even pull, I just used my body position. Okay, we're gonna try to do a stop from a trot. Woo! Oh, he pulled on me good that time. Okay, so now here's what my brain is thinking. Is he pulling on me hard because of the bouncy motion of the trot that I'm unable to be as soft as I can be when I'm walking him? So let's experiment with that. Woo! I would say confirmed, because I really focused on how hard I was pulling, and he did not yank on me quite as hard. Woo. We'll try it a couple more times. I think he has a soft mouth. I think that's part of the struggle that I'm discovering with Dallas is he's got a really soft mouth. Woo. Oh, See, I pulled really hard. As soon as that pressure gets kind of above what Dallas wants to deal with, that's when he'll try to yank, pull his head way down. Back up, bud. Okay, so part of that is okay. And then the other part of that is Dallas is kind of has to relearn a little bit that if I pull, and this is the most mild horse bit you can put in a horse's mouth. I mean, the next best thing would be going liberty riding with like zero anything in his mouth. And in case you don't know what liberty riding is, that's where they ride with no saddle, no bridle, and they are effective at it. You know, they are professional. They would put me to shame, okay? So he has a super mild bit. I'm barely pulling. I would say I have enough horse experience where I know how to softly touch a horse's mouth, okay? And so he needs to kind of come to terms with this a little bit, where it's like, okay, I know that it's more than you think you need, but he's like applying more pressure. I'm applying pressure, and then he's pulling super hard, which makes more pressure for his mouth. So it makes it look like I'm the culprit. I'm the guy doing it, and it's not. It's him, because he's trying to escape the initial pressure. Woo. Back up. Good boy. Woo. Back up. I'm trying real hard to be gentle with his mouth, and I would say it's helping. I'm still in that backwards body position because I want him to keep backing up and until I tell him to stop. So I'm going to keep putting pressure on him, and when he moves, I'm going to release the pressure. Okay, and then when he moves, releasing the pressure. Good. You know, he's not backing up fast, but he's still backing up. Whoa. Oh, he moved forward, and I wasn't ready yet, so we're going to take those steps back by backing him. And I'm going to relax my legs so my calves touch him. And that made him go. Now, I'm not kicking him. I'm just relaxing my legs. Back up. I mean, don't you agree with me that you should be able to sit up here relaxed? And just let your legs dangle and not have your horse take off on you? I feel like that's a pretty normal, like a request of your horse, where you can just kind of have relaxed legs and your horse isn't like, oh my gosh, that means run as fast as I can. So we're gonna do that. I'm just gonna relax I'm dead legging it right now. So my calves are touching him. And he needs to learn that doesn't mean go. When it's just relaxing. Just because I'm simply touching him does not mean go. And we're not gonna hang out here for a long time because this is a progression, okay? So once I can have a few seconds of him standing here with my legs dead legging it, then we're going to move on because I don't want to hang out here too long. Because backing up puts pressure on his mouth and, oh, see, now he's pawing. Isn't that adorable? He's like, fine, I'll stand here, but I'm going to paw. He's got things to do. Dallas clearly has a packed schedule. I mean, his day must be full. I mean, if you had to itinerary it out, like 8 a.m., wake up, 8:15 a.m., go try to flirt with the female horses in the pasture, 8:20 a.m., run for my life for said flirting, 8:30 a.m., go get a drink, 8:35 a.m., eat some hay, and then probably just repeat that. And there's a nap in there somewhere too, because Dallas likes to lay down and take naps. That's his agenda. It's such a busy day. I mean, I'm grateful Dallas even found a little bit of time for me to ride him today. All right, we're gonna do some cool down laps and call this a successful ride because I did not fall off. I do feel like Dallas understands me better than when I started. And by him understanding me better, that means he will understand any of all of you better if you come and ride Dallas or any of the horses here at Whispering Hope Ranch. still has energy to burn. I can feel it underneath of him wanting to pick up and go. Not like tear, but just trot. Lazy horse, pick up and go. Okay, I feel like his heart rate has come down. He's not huffy puffy anymore, even though he's still pretty sweaty, so we're gonna call that a wrap. Gotta figure out which camera she's got up so I can go talk to that camera. Oh, she switched on me, okay. I have the fortunate blessing of a camera switcher today. So these different camera angles you've been seeing, it requires somebody to actually push a button. So I'm thankful for Julie hanging out with me today, so she could be my camera operator. All right, well, I'm Justin from Whispering Hope Ranch. This is Dallas, and this has been a training tune-up video. We'll see you on the next video.